Well, I almost wasn't going to film this or video this yeah, I didn't think anybody'd be interested, but then again, somebody might be. What I have here is an IBM PC. You can tell it's PC because it has the cassette port on the back. It's got 256K on the board and 384 in a memory card, so 640 total. What I have a problem with is it's not booting my discs. It doesn't matter what disc I use, and I just made a fresh brand new disc and it still won't boot. Now I do know this disk drive works. This is the original floppy disk drive cable here. And what I have run into that these get old, they get corroded. Sometimes the wires inside the cable will break, they get brittle and break. You won't even see that it's broken, but it won't be making any contact. I won't have any. So to eliminate this, I've made a brand new cable and have the appropriate connector here on the end. I added this in and still nothing. So I may have a bad disk drive controller, or maybe one that needs to be recapped. So, and yes, I put a little fan in there. It gets a little toasty inside here, actually. All these chips, they get hot. And that one little fan, as soon as you put the case on, the case covers right there on top of it, so it gets almost no ventilation in here. Well, I shouldn't say that. That's a pretty good fan. So it does pull air through, but I got the original screw. Okay, so this is just a floppy disk drive controller card. That's all it is. It doesn't do anything else. This on the back is a 37-pin external disk drive port, because these older PCs you could plug 4 disk drives into them. Well, technically, I think it's either 4 single-sided drives or 2 double-sided drives, if I remember correctly. But anyway, this board, if I can find a date on it. They had the date. Oh, okay, that says 84 right there. So this might have been from 1984. And it could be that the connectors need to be cleaned. We'll try that. I do have another controller card. I don't know. I don't think I've tested this one yet. 1984. Alright. We'll go ahead and clean both of them and see what happens. Just some rubbing alcohol, I think. Okay, we got the original card plugged back in. I didn't screw it back in, but as long as I don't bump it, it'll be fine. That's a long-winded screw. Turn it on. We got our boot disk in. Yep, on the PCs, you just get a blinking cursor while it counts the memory. It doesn't actually show you how much memory it's counting. It's a heck of a fan, but the more memory you have, the longer it takes. Yeah, I have no hard drive in here yet, and I almost don't have room for it. No, right into basic. Oh, it didn't recognize the disk. Let's try another one just to... Just Control-Alt-Delete. On the keyboard over there. Nope, it's completely ignoring the disk. Going straight into basic. Yeah, a modern computer would have displayed a boot failure, but if it can't read the disk, it just goes right into the basic ROM, which is these chips down here. Alright, let's shut it off and swap cards. Maybe we could do this one-handed. Ugh. Both these controller cards came out of computers that were in scrap heap, so it's very possible these cards don't work. Get in there. There we go. Try it again. It would help if I had the thing closed. Why is it squawking? It sounds terrible. Now I gotta reboot. I didn't have the door closed. Whoop. There we go. Interesting to see what's wrong with this card. And we have date prompt. We'll run system information. Yep, IBM PC running DOS 6.22, Intel 8088. Monochrome display, set up for 2 disk drives, this one is. We have one serial port and 1 parallel port. And 640K. And index relative to an IBM XT is 1, so it's running the same speed as an IBM XT. This is what this computer program just compares whatever computer you're testing to an IBM XT. Alright, got it working. What else have we got on this disk? I don't think we have much. Nope. We have the basic DOS commands. We can see if drive B works. Oh, that's a noisy disk. DIRB. Insert disk for drive B and press... Oh, so it doesn't even see that disk drive. Why not? See it? Okay. When it does that, what it's going to do is it's going to use the A drive as drive A and B. So if I hit enter, yeah, there it goes. That's how you would get around copying disk. Now it's telling me to insert the disk for drive A. I'm just going to go back to calling it drive A now. So, new problem. Why is it not using drive B? Well, it's not the controller issue. And no, I don't have my disk drive mounted yet. Well, oh, that might be it. It's got the terminator in there. I don't know if it'll focus on that. The terminator resistor is supposed to go on the last drive on the chain, which that's not the last drive, so the cable runs through this connector and comes up to this drive. This is the last drive. So I can do one of two things. I can either switch the cable around or take both disk drives out and switch them. I think I'll just disconnect the cable and switch the cable around. And for those who don't know, whichever drive has the twist is going to be the A drive. And the red wire is pin 1, and on these, pin 1 is where the notch is. That's pin 1 there. And on this drive is the TAC drive, and they're weird. They make their stuff upside down. So that cable has to go upside down. Now you know why this cable is so freaking long. Nope, we're stuck. Okay. Cable management. Right. Come on. Trying to do this one hand is not working. Okay, there we go. And then there's our pin 1 with the notch. And you'll feel that little, there's a key in there. And you'll feel that go in. There we go. So now, I switched the cable around, so now the bottom drive is drive A. And we'll see that when it does its post. There we go. So now let's drive A now. Oh, there we go. On system, come on. Try again. Oh, the heads may need to be cleaned. I thought I cleaned the heads on this one, but there it goes, starting MS-DOS. It's going. Good. Alright, now let's see if everything works like it's supposed to. No, it's still asking me to insert drive B, which means it's going to go back to drive A. Yep. Dun, 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 dun. Before you turn one of these off, make sure you at least open up the doors. That prevents a power surge from turning the power off from zapping the head and zapping your boot disk. Not so much on IBM computers, but Tandy's were bad about that. The TRS-80s were bad about that. If you turned off a TRS-80 Model 3 with a disk in the drive and the door closed, you were guaranteed to have ruined that disk. Alright. Modern computers have a UEI BIOS. Old computers had switches. And I need to double check my switch settings, because I'm thinking it's not set right. And you need a chart like this to tell you what switch does what, on, off. This is actually for the memory for switch 2. We don't need to look at that one. What we need to look at is floppy disk drives. How many disk drives do we have hooked up? We have 2 disk drives hooked up. If it's set up for 1, then it could do what we're experiencing. So switch block 1, switch 7 and 8 should be, 7 should be off and 8 should be on. Let's find switch block 1. You can barely see it, but on the motherboard, I wonder if I have a light. Do I have a light? No. No light, sorry. On the motherboard that says SW1, that one says SW2. SW2 is for the memory configuration. And if we look down there, we need pin 7, or switch 7 needs to be off, and switch 8 needs to be on. On is in the up position, and if you look, I lost it. Where'd I go? Where'd I go? There we go. If you look, both 7 and 8 are in the up position. They're both on. which means this is going to act like a one floppy drive system. What we need to do is turn number 8 off. And I need something with a sharper point. Do I have something with a sharper point? A ballpoint pen usually works really well. But I don't have a ballpoint pen. I don't have any kind of pen. What was I using before? Oh, I was using this LED. I'm going to push down right there if I can get it. There you go. That is a dip switch. Now number 7 is down and number 8 is off, is on. Seven is off, 8 is on for 2 floppy disk drives. Okay. But the other thing was correct too. The terminator needs to be on the last drive. And I originally had it set up that way, but when I put the new cable in there, I was like, well, I don't want this cable all twisted around between one drive and the other, so I switched it the other way around, which is not correct. Alright, now I'll turn it back on. We'll wait for it to post again. Post and focus. Post and focus. Helps if you can get the dip switch settings. I got this off the internet. IBM 5150. If you're curious, just Google it. IBM PC or XT 5150 or 5160. And the this is actually will work for both the PC and the XT. Just on the XT, you ignore everything from here down. And there we go. We got a post. It's not beeping because I don't have a speaker plugged in. And I need to rewire it. That's why we're not getting that familiar beep. Okay, now let's check the operation of drive B. And it's simply, oh, yep, there we go. Boy, it's a noisy disk. Oh no, it's not. Oh, it's scraping. There we go. Alright. Retro electronics. This is redneck electronics. Alright, we'll do an F3. Drive B is working. And then it goes back to drive A because drive A is what it booted off of. And it has to check the command com every time. Well, that and it's set for drive A. So when it goes back, it has to access the disk to make sure it's still there. Alright. Let's see if we can get a blank disk. I wonder if I have one just conveniently laying around. I have something that looks like it's blank. Let's see if it is. Just DIRB. Oh, it's not completely blank. It has command com. It has a... But that'll serve the purpose because we have disk copy on our boot disk, and we're gonna make a copy of our boot disk. It's gonna copy from this disk to this disk and make this disk identical. And we'll do disk copy A. You gotta put the colon in there. See if I zoom in on that. There we go. Space B colon. When I hit enter, it'll load disk copy, and then tell me to insert the source disk in drive A, target disk in drive B, and then press any key to continue. And it will proceed to copy the disk. It even tells you copying 40 tracks, 9 sectors per track, 2 sides. So everything is correct. Now if I were copying a single-sided disk, it would come up and say single-sided. Or say one side instead of two. Oh, is it going to copy it all in one go? I think it is. Yes, it did. It copied 360K in one pass. Well, that's the upgrade. That's the 640K. It used all that memory to copy 380 or 360K from one disk to the other. If I only had 256K, it would have to go back and forth several times because it, doesn't have enough memory to hold the disk image in memory in order to copy it onto that disk. So that was kind of nifty. If I want to copy another, no. So now we can do dir, and if we don't tell it what drive, it's going to give us the A drive directory. And that's what's on the A disk. That's one we just copied. And if I do dirb, this is the new disk, and it should be the same. And there it is. Alright, so now we have a duplicate. Alright, so we got it working. Maybe next we'll take out this plate and put a hard drive in there. It's a little rusty inside. As you can tell, this has been sitting outside. But a testament to the old hardware is that with a good washing on that motherboard, and I had to replace several caps down there, the little power caps, and this motherboard powered right on, and everything worked. I think the disk drive that was in this particular computer did not work. It was dead shorted. With the disk drive plugged in, the power supply went into overload protection. And I tried fixing it because I found a cap that was shorted, and when I replaced the cap, then it caught on fire. So and I just chucked it. Alright, so got it working. But you won't be able to play any, games won't sound right without speakers. And you see there's no room in here for a sound card. There's just nothing left. Now what I could do is find a multifunction card, and what that would do is I don't have an example, but I've had one that had the memory, the parallel, and serial port all on one card, so that's 2 cards really eliminated. Then you just have the video card, so it frees up a slot. And then I've had one where it had the floppy controller built into it, so that freed up 2 slots. Which, on only a 5-slot motherboard, that's really handy. Now the XTs had 8 expansion slots, so that eliminated a lot of issues with that. These weren't really designed with hard drives in mind. It's a 63.5 watt power supply. There's not much left over for a hard drive.